She wasn't controlling her mirror soul. She was choosing. She was selecting out of the infinite. I think that's the part that a lot of you guys are forgetting about. You can choose your kingdom of heaven by choosing to get up out of watching that movie in that particular theater and walk across the hall and go into the movie that's playing simultaneously of the life that you guys are happy together. Guys, welcome back to another video. In case you're new here, my name is Kim. This is Career Union. When people are trying to manifest their true love, their specific person, they always get caught up in thinking that they are somehow controlling, manipulating, changing, like their thoughts are getting sent out into their person's mind and they're changing their person. They're having to change their person. And this is a lack of understanding what's really actually happening. You never are changing anyone or anything in your reality if you are seeing a reflection of something that you don't want. If you consistently stay aware of the thing that happened that you didn't want, then you will consistently recycle the thing that you didn't want. But instead of thinking that you're changing someone or something, realize that you are changing yourself. And then you are selecting and choosing when you change yourself. And you get very clear of what it is that you actually want. And this can be in any area of your life. True love with your specific person, a deep, meaningful, loving, supportive relationship where you actually trust each other and you bring out the best in each other and you're always by each other's side no matter what. You end up seeing eye to eye. Even if you're triggered, the two of you guys learned how to handle your emotions, things like that. So that's a mindset. So if that's what you want, because even when you do, and you will be, when you're in the physical solidified relationship with your person, there still will be challenges. Life will still have challenges. When you've truly changed within and you've truly tapped into the power, realizing that your experiences are the effect of you. You know, you are source having a human experience. You can call that whatever label you want. And everything in your life, in your personal reality, is a reflection of you. Everything is yourself pushed out, and every one is your divine messenger. That's technically what Neville Goddard said. I don't know if it was in the Law and the Promise. I think it may have been either Awakened Imagination or Law and the Promise. So the people who are in your immediate personal reality are meant for you. Your true love, the person who you feel in your soul, is your true love. If you had an experience with them where, let's say, you were fearful because they stopped texting you as much, and then you got in your feelings about it, and then you guys started arguing, and then they pushed you away. Or maybe there's an age gap, or you're in a long distance situation, or you have differences in how you see God. You can come up with whatever circumstance you can come up with. Those circumstances were simply the reflection and the personification of a little part of you that was protecting yourself from being loved. And the circumstances themselves, probably, if you really think about it, in a lot of cases, they are probably tied back. There's a root cause before you realize what life actually was that is being reflected back to you for the simple, it's simply for you to choose again and to let this go. On this channel, I've shared with you success stories where people had age gaps, there were third parties of all different kinds. Still to this day, my favorite success story is, and simply because this particular client had literally every circumstance under the sun with their person. There were There was 3 years of separation of crickets. There was betrayal. There was thousands of miles between them. There was an age gap. All of it, literally all of it. And if she can manifest not only her person coming back to her once we started working together and she went deeper, it unfolded pretty rapidly after that. Yes, there were still little things that would come up, and then she would be able to stay in her power and continuously let go of that and choose again. She wasn't controlling her mirror soul. She was choosing. She was selecting out of the infinite. I think that's the part that a lot of you guys are forgetting about. There are infinite potentials with in your life, excuse me, of your life, I should say. Exactly like a mega cinema where there are infinite numbers of movies playing. If you had a story, some baggage that you brought into the relationship with your specific person, that whenever you fall in love, you're too much and you're going to get pushed away. Or whenever I'm myself and I'm vulnerable, then the rug gets pulled out from beneath me. It's too good to be true. Or, there could be so many things. And these are all just parts of your past, fragmented and then projected onto your person. So then they show it to you. But you don't have to stay in this kind of hell. You can choose your kingdom of heaven by choosing to get up out of watching that movie in that particular theater and walk across the hall and go into the movie that's playing simultaneously of the life that you guys are happy together. I'm not trying to say that, you know, feeling your feelings, that your fears, and when you're kind of coming out of this pain of whatever happened, I'm not trying to say that this is an easy process and you should definitely never just stuff your feelings down. Because when you stuff your feelings down, the pain of rejection, of abandonment, and all of that stuff, you're simply continuing to be the container of it. You're stuffing it down. You're holding on to it. You're keeping it in your energy. So that little self that's active inside of you will stay active inside of you. So if you have the pain of the words that were said, you can go back into, like, let's say that you just, you're doing your inner work, but then you keep seeking and seeing if you can see any evidence. So then it's like you're kind of, you know what it's like? It's like you're getting up out of the theater and you're going to get a snack and you're going right back into the movie again, the same movie of you not being together. Think of it that way. Like you're treating the inner work like it's a snack, but you're not actually getting up and going to the movie where you guys are happy together. You need to stay in that. And the best way to stay in that is that when you kind of make the decision in the morning, the first 30 minutes of your day is so perfect because your brain waves are in alpha theta. You're very receptive. A lot of times when people get up, they are already kind of waking up in that furnace of affliction, the pain, the sadness. But that's simply because of what you've been doing previously, the previous day and the previous day before that and before that and before that. And a lot of people say that they're manifesting their specific person for 2 years, 3 years, and this and that, but you're actually just manifesting your pain. That's what you've been manifesting. So you have to get up out of that movie and walk across the hall and go into the movie theater that's simultaneously playing of the life that you want. So anyway, when you do your inner work in the morning, I think it's good to, if you can't do it immediately in the first 30 minutes, like fully to immerse yourself, allowing yourself to experience the end and feel it. Sometimes people are like, I can't do it when I first wake up. I need to wake up a little bit. That's totally fine. But what you can do in the first few moments of while you're waking up is you can at least go into gratitude and give thanks for such a wonderful life, for such a wonderful creation, that another day to create miracles in your life, and you can kind of run through a quick little, almost like the cliff notes of your inner work. So from top down into the experience with your person. So you can kind of look at the pillars of your life. Start, like I said, powerfully with gratitude and oneness with God, universe, source. Then, some quick, just very quick, like literally a few seconds in every area. Your own power, your health, your ability to create easily and effortlessly, love for yourself, health. Did I already say that? Doesn't matter. Success in all areas of your life, money and love. So you can just do that. Like that takes, what did that take just now? Maybe a minute. So you can take a minute and just quickly give thanks and tap in very quickly, wake up a little bit. But then before you actually check your phone, this is such a energy drainer. It's not at all serving you. So before you check your phone, before you check your email, before you check social media, just tap in very quickly, get up a little bit, wake up a little bit. And then before you leave the house and do those things that I mentioned, just, you know, sit back down or lay back down and do the inner work more thoroughly. A lot of people like, I don't want to do the inner work. Okay, well, if you don't want to do the inner work, then don't do the inner work. Do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just sharing what I've been doing for decades in my life, and I've manifested everything in my life. So you don't have to listen to me, but I didn't come on and create the channel just repeating information. I created this because decades ago in my life, I knew that I wanted to guide and heal and teach people. And then I created something that I should have failed miserably immediately. But it was literally an experiment. It was an experiment using myself in my life, and it worked. So anyway, I don't mean to go on a tangent of that. I'd just like to share because sometimes you're new to the channel, and I don't want you to be fearful that you can't have all of your desires. All of your desires exist. There is, out of the infinite potentials, there's a version of your life where you literally have it all. Okay. Of course, these little parts of you that are fearful because you can't have it all because of what I mentioned earlier in the session. So you just have to basically change yourself and allow your reality to reflect the change back to you. I've manifested recently, for example, just as an example, just to prove that it's not mind control. My little dog Romeo, I manifested all three of my dogs. I've manifested this home. So I manifested all three of my dogs. Romeo, who's my youngest one, for whatever reason, there was this new behavior that started with him. And I don't know in linear time how long it was, but every time I would go to pick him up on the sofa when I sit down, he wants to come up, he comes to me, and every time I go towards him, he runs away. And it was frustrating me. And the more I was getting frustrated, the more he would run away. When I finally became conscious of what I was doing and I decided to see it differently, I just literally imagined the same exact scenario and him stopping and coming to me. And I would imagine myself in a few different scenarios in the house, watching him walk away from me. And I would go to get him. And instead of him running away, he would just stop and let me pick him up. So I imagined it for a certain amount of time. And then every time in the 3D, if I went through the experience with him again, I would simply close my eyes immediately and revise it. And after a short amount of time, this behavior completely changed. I could have looked up and Googled behavioral, like dog training to correct this. I could have gone to YouTube videos and watched a couple dog whisper videos of how to stop a dog from running away when you call it or when you go to pick it up or all of this stuff. I didn't have to train him in the normal 3D way to stay. I just allowed myself to experience that he stayed. And I know that what I'm talking about right now isn't romance with your specific person. I'm just trying to give you an example that no matter what it is that you desire, You're tuning in and selecting and choosing out of the infinite to watch that particular movie. So again, if you don't like what's happening in your 3D, choose, get very clear, and go to that movie, sit down, get comfy, and enjoy yourself. Stick to that. Once you make the decision, then you stick to that decision. So, like I said previously in yesterday's video, where I shared with you that one of my clients, manifested her and her mirror soul being closer and closer. They spent a couple days together. They made love over and over and over. She's being more light about it. She's allowing herself to feel the blissfulness of oneness with her and her reality and all the people in it. She's leveling herself up and seeing the people in her life level themselves up too, better health, more money. And she's seeing such a huge change from the experiences she was having previously. Why? Technically, she gave herself permission. But really, what was happening is she simply walked away from that, watching that movie, and she went across the hall and she watched the movie that she preferred. Okay. So I feel like a lot of you are right there, but the only thing is that you might consistently get caught up in your fear again. So when the fear comes up, if it's just a waiver, don't get angry with yourself and don't get scared, because when you get fearful of your fear, it's silly. Then you're really letting your fears control you and you're still letting your 3D control you. So instead, if it's just a waiver, you made a choice. Again, I would do the inner work like I said earlier in the morning. I'm not going to repeat it again, just so you can go back in the video. So if you just have a little bit of a waiver, you're aware of it and you just, literally step back. No, that's not true. That's not who I am. We love each other deeply. Our love is secure, harmonious. We're best friends. We support each other's dreams. We trust in each other completely. If it's around money, say a few affirmations around money. If it's around your health, say a few affirmations around your health. If it's a deep trigger, I wouldn't just do that. If it's a deep trigger, you got to get that out. You have to get those emotions out. So go through that like I described earlier in today's session too. Okay, now just go back to living your life and enjoy yourself and do things that you really enjoy. Do things that bring you peace. Do things for your health, for your body, for your mind. Get into things that you've always been interested in or things that you stopped doing when you started to get in your fears. Live your life fully and enjoy yourself and give the same amount of energy, awareness, and attention to your true love as you would if the healthy relationship had already solidified in your life. If you were in a healthy relationship, you guys would spend time together, but then you would also do your own thing. They would also do their own thing. And then there would be times you would be off doing something, but you would have an awareness that they're off doing what they're enjoying doing. Maybe, you're out doing something, that they're home, or maybe they're with you. You guys would be probably communicating about different things that you want to do together. So this is like an awareness that you would have throughout the day that you guys are together, that you are already in the relationship. So remember, you can't be in the relationship and not be in the relationship. You choose in consciousness from in that powerful way that I described earlier, and then you stick to that decision. How do you control yourself? You control yourself. You don't give in to the fears anymore. You don't give in to the limiting beliefs. So anyway, while you're living your life fully, you also have an awareness and you're embodying already being in the relationship. So you give the energy and awareness and attention to your person in the same way that you would in the relationship. All right. Affirm down below, I trust that all of my desires are done. Me and my true love have an amazing, wonderful, incredible, passionate relationship. Okay. I love you so much. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.